Well, hey guys, I wanted to give you a little progress report on what's happening here and give you a little insight on what I'm learning. The thing I'm really struggling with is removing these bushing pins. They shouldn't be that difficult, but the reality is many of these are kind of rusted and fused in place. Basically a byproduct of neglect and lack of maintenance. All these bushing pins have these little grease fittings on here, and clearly this was not maintained. In some cases, even rusted and fused into place. I wanted to show you the tool that really ended up working well in this process. It's called a slide hammer. Now the slide hammer is a way to be able to pull something directly out of its seated position. On the end of each of these bushing pins is a threaded stem. So here's my strategy on these. I am going to put a grease fitting back on here and re-inject a whole bunch of grease. Now hopefully it's not too rusted and clogged to the point where it won't allow the grease in. And hopefully a little bit more grease will loosen this up. So as I start pumping the grease into the bushing, you'll see it penetrate into the bushing and then come out through the center of the bushing, which will further lubricate the internal parts. But clearly, no maintenance, and you end up with a rust bucket. The second thing I'm doing is I've welded two nuts together, one of the original diameter to fit this stem, and then another one of the proper diameter to fit the end of this slide hammer. Okay, there we go. Everything's nice and tight. Here goes nothing. Watch your fingers. Look at all the rusty pittedness inside there. Well, that one definitely came out easier than the ones I was working on yesterday. All right, there's one down. Let's see if we can go work on the other. Well, you'd think this thing would just fall out right now, but on this very last one, I've done 3, I'm kind of at a stopping point. I think I'm making a little progress, but yeah, man, that's slow. There she comes. Woohoo! Yeah! Okay. Before I go ahead and put the new leaf suspension in, now's a chance to take care of some rust issues, especially on the actual axle mount here. So I want to come along here with a wire wheel, clean this up a little bit, treat it with a black anti-rust paint, and let that dry. And after that's dry, then we can go ahead and start mounting the new leaf suspension. Oh. Almost there. I'm in the hole. Oh. Yeah! Wow. Okay. I did it. Whew.
Well, I managed to get these things in place. It wasn't pretty, but they're where they belong. I put on the U-bolts, but I just only finger tightened the nuts in the bottom right now. I will be putting some thread lock on those, and then obviously setting them to the right torque. It's best to put the weight of the chassis on this before you tighten anything down.
I'm going to take my awkwardly welded nut here and put it on as a way to just kind of keep it from getting damaged as I go in. Now I don't have any fancy way of pressing this, so I'm hoping that I'll be okay to be able to just pound this in. Okay, that went better than I expected. Okay, I got one in. 3 more to go. So after I cleaned up the shackle, I knew that I needed to get that old bushing out of here, but it was going to be really a difficult task with the tools that I don't have to be able to get the old one out and the new one seated properly. I happened to be going down to our local tire center, Les Schwab, and I thought, well, I'll take this down and see if they can help me out. And sure enough, they were super kind. I said go ahead and press out the old one and press in the new one, and it went just really slick. The thing that I thought was interesting was the evidence, as he showed to me, the evidence of how the old one was worn, and maybe hard to see in the video, but the wall thickness, original wall thickness up top here compared to the wall thickness down low, this is definitely a very worn bushing, creating a little bit of slop inside there. So those are going to get tossed, obviously. Then we have the new one. So I got to seat this one and then attempt to seat the lower one. Let's see how we do with that. Well, that was too easy. Oops. Okay, I put this one on backwards. That's my problem. I remembered that earlier and I forgot about it now, so I got to pull this out. Good thing this went in so easily. And the way I know that is there's a little shoulder on this one that matches the part that's going in. So gotta pay attention to the details.